on you, while you're trying to get on the webassign, then you should be able to print out the book by sections. Okay? So that's one thing out of the way. Next thing is grade book. And I'm not going to tell you what grade book is for. It tells you what your grades are. I will say that it is nice having the zeros already in, because some people forget that, when you're in high school, if you don't do something, at the end of the semester, it turns into a what? A zero. But when you go to college, you think that for some reason, y'all think that rule goes away. I don't know, because I had 2 or 3 students last semester, and they wait till after the termination day of the homework, which is the last day of class, and they can't understand why their grade has gone down. Their grade dropped from 82 to 75. Well, I put in zeros in the grades, in the homework that they didn't do. And if you don't do the homework, your grade drops. So that's one good thing about webassign. If you got to increase that grade. So I don't have to deal with a lot of calculus students calling me up 2 or 3 days after the last day of class wondering why their grade dropped. But usually calculus students can figure that out beforehand. But anyway, so that's that. That's the grade book. My assignments. When you hit my assignments, you go and there's your assignments. They're not due any assignments yet because I haven't even put any up. Okay? So these are just generic. They come when I copied the class over. Communication. I wish they would improve this to where it would send it to my email, but it doesn't. It just keeps it in webassign. So to see if you've communicated with me, I have to go into webassign to see if you communicated with me. So that's why it's a little bit behind. Calendar, there's that, and it'll put the dates. It'll put like when homework's due, when tests are due, and things like that on the calendar. All right. I wish I could show you some good features of webassign, but what have I told you about webassign? It sucks. All right. You don't have very much. All right. I'm gonna see if I can find integration. I saw integration somewhere. There's the power rule. I'm sorry. Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible. And the reason it's terrible is you got engineers instead of educators that designed it. And that's the difference. And my dad was an engineer, but he was an engineer with a little bit of common sense. There are very few of those. Most of you engineers think you're God with a little g, okay? And they know everything. I'm serious. If you ever met anybody that thinks they know everything, you're going to meet them because they're called engineers. And the truth of the matter is, they don't know everything. And they sure as heck don't know how to fix a course to where students can use it. And you have educators, and I went to 4 or 5. For 5 years straight, I went to North Carolina to a weekend convention thing, conference thing. And I told these guys, I said, these are things you need to do. And they were like, okay, whatever. They were like, whatever. And that's why they have 1.5 stars instead of how many? 5? That's why. So that's what happens when you are God with a little g. You don't need to be told how to improve anything because you made it. It's already perfect. But anyway, here is your problems, and you really don't have any help. Now, every once in a while, I try to pick the problems, and that's why I don't understand why they're not on here. I try to pick the problems with videos. All right? I try to pick homework problems with videos, and that's what I was trying to find. And I'm looking, hold on a minute. There's Algebra Review. Don't know if that'll have anything on it. Yeah, there it is. Watch it. They don't, a video is called a video, but they can't call it a video. They have to say, watch it. Anyway, you're going to find these little things about WebAssign. I can't even think of the word, but they don't use the word copy. I got to think of it. I can't think of the word they use, but it's a big, long, 4-syllable word. It means copy. It's just funny things that you get out of WebAssign. But if you hit watch it, you're going to see a little video that comes up, and they show you how to do it. Now, I try to include as many of those I can on the homework. And the reason that is because, now with algebra, I don't need to, but I do. You've had algebra. Some of you have never had calculus before. And then some of you that's had calculus before, you've never been taught the bridge between algebra and the limit is equal to calculus. You've just been told, here's the limits, here's algebra review, here's the limits, and now we're doing calculus. And you never did make that bridge. You just, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, but I have no idea what the hell I'm doing. And that's what I get. I get a lot of students that have had calculus that tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I know I'm doing this, and I know I'm doing this, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I try to put as much as I can. Now these other things, I don't even know if I'd try them or not. That's why I just try to do the video. Now in MyLabs Plus, they give you a help me solve this and explain this, and it's real. But does WebAssign try to copy that? No. They just do their own thing, and you can submit the answer or you can practice another version of the problem. I give you, I think, 3 or 4 times to actually type in an answer. I don't know if it's still that way. I'll have to check it. But anyway, that's all I can tell you. Now, what's the review on algebra? The review on algebra, oh my goodness, is a lot of things. It's factoring and polynomials. It's rationalizing the denominator. It's graphing and functions. It's completing the square, completing the square, completing the square. If you don't know how to complete the square, I'm going to spend however much time to make sure everybody in here knows how to complete the square, because that's detrimental in calculus. Hold on a second, and I'll tell you. I'm trying to think of anything else. There's several. Solving systems of equations. I hope some of y'all know what I'm talking about when I say all this stuff. But if you notice, you'll see a bunch of quadratics on here. That's because I want you to be able to complete the square. And that's probably where we're going to start today, is completing the square, rationalizing the denominator. I'm going to cover a good day's worth of algebra review before we go into limits, because if you don't know how to factor, you can't do limits. So that's why the algebra review is there, and we'll probably start there today. Okay, how do I do the homework? I usually, when I cover a subject, I assign the homework. When I assign the homework, that means there is an initial beginning day, but I don't give an ending day. Yeah, I'd have to on WebAssign, because it can't function without an ending day. So I usually give you a week or so to get that one section of homework done. Test, when we get to a ending point, like let's say chapter 1 has 8 sections in it, and we're at 1.7, then when I get to 1.7, everybody in the classroom should be thinking what? Test coming up. And test coming up, meaning homework is going to cut off. And those questions you can answer yourself. When we're on 1.7, I don't need anybody asking me, when are we going to have a test? I have no idea. Okay, if we're on 1.7, that means we got one more day to cover 1.8. If we're on a Monday and I cover 1.8 on a Wednesday, what do you think is going to happen the next week? It's going to be a test. Usually, when I start a test, I think I do it on the board. I actually post it and I do all the dates and everything on the board. So the whole class can see when it starts and when it what? When it ends. I usually give students a week to take the test, and you usually have 3 times. Now, with My Labs Plus, that's very simple. With this, it's not. So I have to give you, instead of just giving you 3 attempts and that's it, I have to make 3 different tests. And I have to put them on here. And it's Form A, Form B, and Form C. It'll take the highest of the 3. So if you make a 98 on the first one, do you have to take the second and third one? No, because 98, 0, and 0, what's the highest grade? 98. If you make a 72 and a 75, then you need to take the third one and try to make it better than the 75. Because if you don't, the computer's going to take the 75. Okay? Most of them are open answer. And the reason I do that instead of multiple choice is I'm already getting flack from people that think I need to give in-class tests so I can make my retention go down. All right? And I'm not going to do that. So that's why I leave it open answer. So you have to get used to typing in these answers in an open forum so when you get to the test, you don't screw it up. Okay? After you take the test, you should be able to print it out, and you go through a review through the grade book or through the grade. It's not a grade book, it's grades. And hit the grades, find your test, and you should have a review. And then when you go to the review, you should be able to print it out. Print out your highest test scores. Why? Because my final exam online is made up of what? The old test. So all you need to do is review over your old test. Okay, who has questions on anything with webassign? There's really not much to ask about it because it's not much to it, but yes. All those are going to be gone. And usually it's in chronological order. If I do the algebra review first, if I assign it first, it's going to be at the very top. Then Unit 1 material, Unit 2, and I name it by sections. So if we go over 1.7 in the book, then the homework will be called Hubert's 1.7 homework or something like that. I don't know where these are coming from. I got to delete them, and I don't know. The algebra review I'm not, because it's pretty important, but it's going to be more than this. I don't know where this is coming from. This could be coming from several years ago. What it's doing is pulling all the homeworks and tests that I've given in a 5-6 year period, so I don't know where all of them are coming from. Okay? I'm going to close this view so I can actually see what's going on with this thing. Get out of this. Get out of this. And here. Yeah, see, it's pulling up. Propagate. That's the word. So if you want to copy something, you got to hit the word propagate. I had to look that up to see what propagate meant, because I didn't know what it meant until I did. And it's got propagate, to copy. Why didn't they just put copy down there? Propagate. So now, you know a new word, propagate. If I even said it right. I don't even know if I said it right. But these... Hold on a second. I don't know why you want to. I don't know why you would want to open up all your assignments whenever you make a class. To me, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm trying to figure out how to take this off. It's not going to let me. I love webassign. I think it's the greatest thing in the world. So I got to hit every single one of them. Take them off. That way you won't be confused. Now, where is the algebra review? Algebra review, I'll leave it open. Rationalizing, okay, rationalizing denominator, I'll leave that open. Trig review, I'll leave that open. Where is it? Oh, open that up. I'm looking right now, just hold on. All right, that looks like that's it right now. Okay. So, and I'll look at the dates after class. So see, that's all you'll see now. Miss Faith, sorry. That's all you'll see. So after today's class, you should be able to start on some of these. Scientific notation and logs, that's the other 2 or 3. I do go through a trig review and an algebra review in the last 140, so it's on YouTube, and you can go there. And just, I don't know if I showed you, but I'll show you just once again. And I think the videos are important because it's best to follow the teacher, and if there's videos of the teacher, you need to look at them. And if you go to, I don't need to log on. Just go Hubert, McClure, and I don't know if I showed y'all, but hit the blue one. This is office hours. This is classes. Hit the thing right there, and hit, where's libraries? Okay, it's supposed to have playlist or libraries. I guess you just go here and create a playlist. And the first 140 that you see is down here somewhere. That's 141. There it is, fall 2015. What? Huh? No. If I cover algebra review, I'll usually leave it open about a week. So, because it's going to be 2 days of algebra review in here. And a lot of people say, why are you going to algebra review 2 days? Because if you can't do algebra, guess what? You're going to suck at calculus. And I'm talking not suck like a D, I'm talking suck like an F. Because calculus is algebra and limits. You put those two together and you got calculus. And you can't understand calculus if you don't know what the heck you're doing with algebra. Okay? But if you want to go, just click on this. And look at there, first day video, we've already done that. Second day is deleted. I don't know what that is. Okay, here it is. Second day, I don't know what that is. Second day, completing the square. Now, last time I taught 140 was about a year ago, before the second calculus, anyway, 2 or 3 semesters ago. Back then I was using a video camera, and then they gave me this stuff set up. So now it'll just be me writing on the board instead of, so you click on it and there you go. Shut up. I don't like to hear myself talk. So it takes a minute for the camera to actually get focused in, but there we go. I don't know why it's doing that. I have to show you the only video that's not focused. There. And there we do. And I think I do at least 15 problems of completing square. That's how important it is. Okay? So there's that. And just hit YouTube and you can go there. Questions on that? Okay, does anybody have any questions about anything having to do with class or WebAssign? Anything? I covered it so well that nobody has any problems. Yes, sir.
You may have said it before, but is the homework unlimited chances, or how many chances
Yes.
do you have?
Pretty much it's unlimited, I think. If it's not, then I need to fix it. Because there's some teachers that turn off the limits. Have you ever seen one of those teachers? That's like, I'm going to teach you piano lessons. And I'm just taught you a lesson. I want you to go home. And I want you to practice. But I only want you to practice 15 minutes. Don't practice more than 15 minutes. That's just like telling somebody that they can't do a problem but 3 times. That's ridiculous in my opinion. I'm sorry. What's the whole purpose of homework? Practice. Nope, you can only practice 15 minutes on one problem. More than 15 minutes and it goes against your grade. I'm sorry, some of these teachers, they got it bass-ackwards. I'm sorry, and they don't care if they publish that or not. And close the door at 8 o'clock. I mean, to me, they're just asking for trouble. That's just my opinion. And I got one like everybody else. Anybody else got a question? Okay, well, I guess we're going to have to start with math then, because y'all don't want to talk and ask questions, so we'll have to start with math. All right, algebra review. Let's go ahead and start with equations. Let's go ahead and start with factoring, polynomial equations, and factoring trinomials and things like that. Let me give you one to start with. And let's see what you do with it. Because I'm going to try to pull up something that might help. X squared, I'm writing with a mouse, so be quiet. Don't make fun of me. Plus 4x plus 4 is equal to 0. See, that's the problem. When I'm recording, it has a delay, and I don't know why that is. Do that right quick, and I'm going to try to send myself something that will help your class. Let's see, where's my one? Any of y'all ever use OneCloud? OneDrive? I hope this works. Well, I need to send an email to myself. Okay, email. Send. Now there's several ways to do this problem. I'm going to see how many ways you can do it. explain about the PowerPoint that I'm trying to find. Graphs, polynomial factor. That's a video. That's not how Now, this is a shortcut. It's shortcut number 1. Now, some of you have no idea what I'm talking about with the shortcuts. Well, they're called the polynomial squares and all that good stuff. That's the document I was going to. There we go. I'm figuring out how to do something for the first time. I'm sorry. I'm trying to send this to myself. Outlook. That's not going to work. There we go. Here we go. We're moving. We're cooking with OIL now. I'm pulling this off my... No, it's not working. There we go. I was going to pull up a PowerPoint, but that's not working. So, anyway, the shortcut is shortcut number 1, and that is X plus, or A, sorry, I gotta erase it. Something's going so slow. A plus A squared plus 2AB. This is going to drive me crazy. Plus B squared is equal to A plus B quantity squared. Now, there's 2 types of students in here right now. One student is saying, oh yeah, I remember that. And the other student is saying, well, I never learned that because I always do it reverse FOIL. That second student is going to suck at calculus. Now, you don't need to raise your hand and say, well, you're talking about me. No, I don't know who I'm talking about. The student that says, I didn't learn those shortcuts, I just learned reverse FOIL, that student is going to suck at calculus. Now, I'm going to go through all of these algebra things, and I'm going to tell you what kind of students are out there. And I'm going to tell you which ones are going to be good at calculus and which ones are going to suck at calculus. Don't raise your hand and say, you're talking about me. I don't know who I'm talking about. I'm just telling you the 2 different types or 3 different types of students there are. Okay? Now, how do you do it? Well, you should have learned this in Algebra 2, but anyway. Take the square root of both those terms. That's A. A is equal to X. And square root of 4 is 2. So the answer is X plus 2 quantity squared. Now you could do that by the reverse FOIL and it would take you twice as long. Okay? So let's try nerding. 2. Let's go with 4x squared minus 4xy, no sneezing in class, plus y squared. You sneeze more than 3 times, we start throwing rocks at you. Dang old Sharia law, dang old stoning. All right, 4x squared minus 4xy plus y squared. Shortcut number 2. Do it. Did I tell y'all about my little project that I was doing outside of Tri-County that I made the jump starts online? Kickstarts online. Well, I've made all of the, in the last 3 weeks, I've made like 20 PowerPoint presentations to put online to refresh students in algebra or whatever. And I forgot to transfer them over to here where I can use what I've created for the jump starts, I can use them for class. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to move them over. So anyway, you remember the jump starts, Faith? The week classes before? Okay. Well, they quit using them. They used them for like 15 years. I created them when I was first started. And it's 1 week classes before the class starts so you can refresh on different topics. Well, they quit using them 2 years ago because of scheduling. Okay? So I said, well, people still need them. So I took that idea and I put it online. I call it Kickstart. Anyway, I just thought of it the last 3 weeks. So I spent 3 weeks at my house, besides some vacation, putting these videos together with PowerPoints and with me writing, and I can use them for my class. I just didn't transfer them over. So that's what I'm trying to find. Y'all, I'll go faster as this is really bothering me. I wanted to pull this up, but I can't find it, so I'm trying to find it. I'll be all right. I take medication every morning. There's completing the square. Got that one. I don't need completing the square, I need factoring. Function, domain, and range. Got plenty of time. That looks like it right there. But that's the video. I don't want the video. Alright, so take the square root of this one. Take the square root of this one. And that'd be 2x, and that'd be y. 2 times 2xy is 4xy. So it is a shortcut, but which shortcut is it? It's shortcut number 2, which is the same as this one, except it has a minus symbol right there. So that would be x, or 2x minus y, quantity what? Squared. And I'm not going to write shortcut number 2 because it would take this thing twice the time to write it, but it's this one. Sorry. This is going to really get on my nerves. That one, and put a minus there and a minus there, and that's shortcut number 2. All right, let's do a nerd. Next page. 49 x squared minus 36. Which one? This one?
Yeah.
There's only one. There's only one minus. There is no plus. In other words, yeah, if I had 49x squared plus 36, you would put does not exist. Cannot do it. Quit trying to be difficult, Kate. Just do what I tell you. This is really bugging me. I'm trying to find this, and I know it's on here somewhere. Okay, take the square root of this one. First of all, what does it look like? It looks like shortcut number three, which is the difference of two what? Difference of two squares. Somebody remembers. And that's shortcut number 3, which is equal to a plus b times a minus b. So take the square root of the first term, take the square root of the second term, and that's going to be 7x plus 6 and 7x minus 6. Okay, now shortcuts number 4 and 5 are the difference of two cubes and the sum of two cubes. Or the sum of two cubes is number 4, the difference of two cubes is number 5. Don't know what I did with them, but I had them and I've got to find them. So I don't know where they are. I even had a little. Okay, there's the shortcuts right there. Just bear with me. I've got the handout for you, so I'm going to send it to myself. And then maybe I can find the other one. And that way you'll have the shortcuts. Well, there's some problems right there. While you're working on some of those, let's work on the even ones. Work on the even ones. And I'll send the other one. What? Just do 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And that's shortcut number 3. And while you're doing those, I'll pull up. Let's see if I can do this.
There we go.
And the other. All right, there's the shortcuts if you want to write those down. There they are. I was going to try to bring them in together, but I can't. Maybe another computer will do that. So, we'll do that. And hit unfill. Now, you remember when you were in algebra and the teacher showed you to do these and you said, well, I'll just do the reverse FOIL method? Well, you should have learned it. So when I'm doing algebra, that's the first thing that I hit is the factoring. Because if you go one way, it's multiplying. If you go the other way, it's factoring. And if you can't do either, you're going to suck at calculus. Okay, so let's get that back down and find that page. There we go. So 2 be 9x plus 2, 9x minus 2. Number 4, 10a plus 15, 10a minus 15. 6, 11 plus 8x, 11 minus 8x. 8, AB plus 5, AB minus 5. And 10 be 20xy plus 7a, 20xy minus 7a. Did you notice how I did those and it didn't take me 15 minutes to do each one? That's how it needs to be. Yes, sir. 6 is 11 plus 8x, 11 minus 8x. Oh, I'm sorry. Does not exist. It's got a plus there. I didn't expect that. Okay, number 6 does not exist because you can't do it. Why? It's got a plus in it. There is no shortcut number 4. All right? There's not 6 shortcuts. There's only 5. There is no a plus b, a squared plus b squared. The reason is you can't have that because it doesn't work in the trinomial. And I'll explain that in just a minute. Okay? Now, you got some down here that's perfect cubes. How do you know that? Well, it's got a cube right there. So that's your difference of 2 cubes. That's your sum of 2 cubes. But you got to know your cubes. What is the cube root of 8? 2. You got to think in terms of cubes. And that's what I go through in that PowerPoint, and I can't find it. So anyway, that's the shortcut. So make sure you can do the shortcuts. I'm going to throw a couple on the board, and I'm going to try to hold on. I'm trying to get my, okay, PowerPoint. Okay, now I've done something and I don't know what I've done. Y'all see the PowerPoint, but I can't get my whiteboard back. So let me see what this is. I don't know how to get my okay. Oh well, now I don't know how I'm on. Maybe I have to pull it up a second time until I figure it out. Now neither one of them will come up. Usually I'm just going 90 miles an hour with algebra. I'm just forgive me. I'm trying to figure out. It's not working. Okay, something's not working. Bear with me. I don't have anything. Okay, there's that. Okay. There's that. There we go. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm working with it. There we go. Now, let's do one more, and let's go the other direction with the shortcuts. And I have a feeling this is not going to work very well. How about x minus 2 quantity squared? What's that going to be? Well, just like we did a while ago, that's going to be x squared plus 4x plus 4. So I just multiplied it. I went the other direction. So if you don't know how to use the shortcuts, you better learn them. How about the other direction? How about x minus 3 times x plus 3? That's shortcut number 3, but it's which way? It's going from right to left, so you're multiplying here too. That's going to be x squared minus what? 9. Now, hopefully I've knocked some cobwebs loose because y'all should know how to do this, all right? Now, with your review, one, the way that you get the X-intercepts of a function is by factoring. And that's the reverse FOIL. Okay? In other words, first term is X, second term is X, last term is 1 and 3. Combination would be 1 and 3, that would be 4 is the inside term. Y'all remember doing that? That was one of the first factoring that you learned. Second, you learned the shortcuts. This is really annoying. Writing and not seeing, it's really annoying. I'm sorry. Third, we're not going to talk about because it's useless. Quadratic formula. And all you're saying, why did they teach it to us in high school? Because you could depend on what to do it. You calculate it. You hardly ever use the quadratic formula in academia. So it's worthless. The one that's not worthless is completing the square. Okay, completing the square. That's the one that works when all the other ones won't. So I can teach you, I can give you a fish and you'll eat for a day. I teach you how to fish and you eat when? Forever. I can teach you each one of these and you can remember 4 different rules. Or I can teach you this one and you don't have to worry about it, the other ones. Now you need to know the other ones, but as far as factoring, this one is the one that you need to learn how to do. Alright? Now let's see if I can do this. Oh, great. Now I know why they have this desk so close to the wall. Because they didn't have another cord, and that cord is coming out. Now, I'm going to see if I can do this. Y'all bear with me a minute. Go back here, pull this up. Functions, that's functions. I didn't send it, I'm sorry. We're going to do complete the square next. This one is the one I'm going to spend a lot of time on. Okay? If the computer don't blow up. See, it may seem like I'm all disorganized, but I'm not. I got everything I need. I just can't get it to from my home to here. So y'all just bear with me. I'm learning. Come on. I hope y'all see the big screen, not... Okay. Complete the screen. Isn't that nice? All pretty and green. I'm proud of it. Alright, as I showed you, and it didn't move. There. Factoring, reverse FOIL, shortcuts, quadratic formula, and completing the square. And all that good stuff right there you don't need to know. There's the shortcuts, but completing the square, we use the first 2 shortcuts. So you need to make a note of that. So take your highlighters out and highlight those first 2 shortcuts, because those are the 2 shortcuts that you're going to be using in completing the square. I kind of like the green PowerPoint presentation. I kind of like this. I know what I need to do. I need to use this big microphone so y'all can hear me better. Right? Thank you very much. All kind of toys in here. All right. And that is how you complete the square, so write it down. Now there's two completing the squares. One is when A is equal to 1. Those are the easy ones. Those are the ones we're going to start with. And then there's A is not equal to 1. And those are the ones that are a little bit more difficult. Hopefully by the time, let's see, I want to see what time it is. Oh yeah, we got 45 minutes. We got plenty of time. We got at least time to work 5 problems. Set trinomial equal to 0 because you are finding the what? X-intercepts. What do you plug in for y to get the x-intercepts? 0. And f of x is what? A fancy way of writing y. So f of x is equal to blah, blah, blah. You plug in 0 for that f of x. You're plugging in 0 for y. So you're getting the x-intercepts. Move C. I love when I say move C because students say, where do you move it? Well, if you set the quadratic equal to 0, there's a left side and there's a right side. C is on the left side. Where do you think you're going to move it? To the right side. So on the left side, you're going to move it to the right side. Then you're going to add 2 blanks, one on each side. Then, number 4. Highlight number 4 because that's the most important part. Take your highlighter out, your colored pencil. Somebody's driving in the parking lot with a yellow flag on the back of their truck. Well, they're parking over there. Don't tread on me, it looks like. No comment. I'm trying to be good. Trying not to go into political forum here. It's hard. I'm going to have to think something. I'll just say this. I wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton for a daggum dog kisser. I'd vote for that Green Party candidate or that other candidate that nobody knows his name before I'd vote for Hillary Clinton.
Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson. I'd vote for anybody. I'd vote for one of y'all for president before I'd vote for Hillary Clinton. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well then, he needs to shut up. I mean, Canada's got their own problems. They can't even afford to pay their bills because of their health care program that's so great. They're about like Greece and all these other countries that are trying that. Don't work. Thus, Hubert's number 1 rule. Nothing is what? Free. Nothing is free. Put in the blanks. What do you put in the blanks? Number 4. All this will make sense once we do it. Okay? Chill. Left-hand side is equal to shortcut 1 or 2. Utilize shortcut 1 or 2. In other words, do it. And then you've got the vertex, the opposite of both numbers. And then solve for x. When you're done with completing the square, you have the y-intercept, the x-intercept, and the vertex. You can sketch the graph with those 4 points. That's why completing the square is so nice, because 1, you use basic math to do it. 2, you get all that information without having to go back and resubstitute and back substitute and all this other stuff. And it's quick. Now, why don't y'all use it? Why don't teachers teach it? Well, the reason they don't teach it in high school is because you have to use basic math, and guess what you don't know how to use? Basic math. You use calculator. They should be teaching it from the 6th grade on. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. From the 9th grade on, they should be teaching it. They should do away with all the watered down math. They should do away with all the other maths, and they should teach Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Pre-Cal, and Calculus. That's what we should be teaching. Nothing else. You might teach a little bit of geometry, but you can teach that in Algebra 1. There should be no other maths. If you finish pre-cal with an A, then you go into calculus. Let some teacher teach it. Teach it in the 12th grade or something. There should be no other maths. Now, I'm not going to be able to write on this, am I? Nope, I don't think so. So let's do a problem. And I can figure out how to get out of this thing. I know there's some way to do it. What? Show taskbar. There we go. I wonder if you can toggle. No, you can't toggle. In slideshow, how about that? There we go. We're cooking with OIL now. I know there's a way you can toggle flip that, but I don't know how to do it, and I'm not going to spend any time doing it. So let's do one. Let's do x squared plus 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now, I've already plugged in 0 for you. I did that part for you. Now, you do the other parts. Move C and put blanks on both sides. Do your list. Now, 30% of y'all have seen this before, or you remember it slightly, and 70% of y'all are going, because guess what? You were cheated. So I'll go ahead and do the first couple of steps for you. X squared plus 4x plus blank is equal to 3 plus blank. All right, number 4, the fourth step, the most important. Take your handy dandy highlighter and highlight that number right there. What is that number? 4. But what is it? It's what? It's b, Hubert. Thank you, class. That's right. ax squared plus bx plus c. That's b. What do you do with b? Divide it by 2 and what? Square it. So 4 divided by 2 is what? 2, and 2 squared is 4. So you put it in blanks. 4 and 4. How much rocket science we're talking about there? Not much. 4 divided by 2, 2 squared is 4.
Can you always add a plus?
You always add it on both sides. Now, what does that give you right here? Gives you shortcut number 1. Why is it shortcut number 1? Because of this plus. Now, if you don't know the shortcuts, and you never were taught completing squaring, you're really going to suck at calculus. Y'all see where I'm getting? Y'all see where I'm going with this? A lot of you are taking calculus for the second time. Why? Because you were cheated. You wasn't taught what you were supposed to know before you took calculus. So what does that give us right here? I'm sorry, articulate. You got to enunciate. I heard. X plus 2 quantity squared. Good. Is equal to, I'll do this for you, 7. And there's your vertex. Your vertex is -2, -7. Boom! You've got the vertex already. And you're only halfway through the problem. So go over here and put vertex. The rule says take the opposite. Well, there's only 2 numbers in the problem. So you take the opposite of both. Don't sit there and go, which one do I take the opposite? There's only 2. -2 and -7. There's your vertex. Now, solve for x. Keep going, solve for x. Well, I need the calculator to take the square root of 7. No, you don't. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 6.5 is 2.5. So I bet the square root of 7 is 2.6. Somebody check me right quick. Get them calculators out. Like the silent drill team. Some of those people can twirl them things around like a basketball with their fingers. Somebody take the square root of 7. What'd you get? It's a miracle. I did that in my head. Now, you can do two things here. You can either leave it under the radical and write it exact, and some teachers like that, some directions want you to do that, or you can change it to 2.6. Now, the reason I'm changing it to 2.6 is what is our outcome? We want to sketch the what? Graph. So I need numbers. I don't need radicals. Radicals doesn't help me sketch a point. So I'm going to put 2.6. Now, the positive or negative, that's self-explanatory because the square root of any number is a positive or negative number. Now, finishing. Boy, we're doing some hard math here, aren't we? I actually had one student tell me, "This makes me mad." And I'm like, "Why did it make you mad?" "Well, we did quadratic formula and had to use a calculator when we could have been doing this." You don't have to use a calculator. But then they have to teach you how to do basic math. So, what's 2 plus 6 minus 2.6? I'm sorry, 2.6 minus 2.6. And what's negative 2.6 minus 2.6? Somebody tell me what the y-intercept is. The y-intercept, you don't even have to calculate. Where is it? Come on, people. Somebody knows it. I'm sorry, what? Negative 3. You have it before you even start. Now, I want everybody to get out a piece of graph paper, or you don't have to, you just draw a graph. And sketch this parabola. And we take our handy dandy straight line maker. Take our handy dandy highlighter or a blue pen. And our vertex is -2, -7. And our y-intercept is -3. And our vertex is 0.6. Our x-intercept is 0.6 and negative 4.6. And there's your, don't make fun of my parabola. I can't help that the mouse is not easy to draw with. Now you can tell the domain and the range. The domain is from -7 to infinity. Range is -7 to infinity. The domain is all real numbers. You see why completing the square is so important? You can sketch a graph in a matter of minutes with completing the square. Now, there's two types of students in here. Like I said, there's students that have seen this before. They have either done it, mastered it, or they have been introduced to it. And then there's some of y'all that have never seen it before. Don't be closed-minded. I will tell you right now, when you get used to doing completing the square, you will do it 100% of the time versus factoring. Now, factoring is still important. You're going to need factoring for limits. You're going to need to be able to do the reverse FOIL and the shortcuts. But you have to use all three of them in calculus. Let's do a nerd. Okay. I don't know what's up with this thing. There. All right, so let's try. I'm going to do one more easy one for you. X squared minus 8x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay? Well, the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 25 is 5. So in the middle would be 4.5. And in the middle of 16 and 25 is what? 9. So half of 9 is 4.5. So the square root of 18, or see, what's 16? You said 20.5 is 4.5. So maybe 4.4. Some of y'all have no clue what I'm doing there. It's called interpolation.
I mean, you don't even know what you're talking about. That's called interpretation.
No, you're an idiot. It's called interpolation. All right? Interpolation, I can't spell it. Interpolation. I don't know if that's right or not. Interpolation is when you take half of a half of a half of a half. It's used in topography. Okay, when you're putting contour lines on a topo map, you take the distance between 2 points, 10 feet, and that's 5 feet. And if it's the difference of 2 feet between 2 feet vertical, then it's a foot right there. You see what I'm saying? It's called interpolation. And you take the square root of, what'd you say, square root of 20? Yes. Well, the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 25 is 5. Somebody tell me what's between 4 and 5. 4.5. And getting good at this, you can do it in your head. And so all you gotta do now okay, I must have hit something. Because there's a purple dot, and there's a magenta dot in there. I don't know where that came from. Then all you gotta do is find the middle over here, and that's the middle over here. See what I'm saying? So 16 to 25 is what? 9? Half of 9 is 4.5, so that's 20.5. So the square root of 20.5 is 4.5. So I just bring it down one, it'll be 4.4. So what if I wanted 4.25? Well, that would be 16 to 20. You know that's a difference of what? I said it was 4.5. Half of 4.5 is 2.75. So that'd be 18.75 or 18.8 roundabout. So if I wanted the square root of 19, that would be 4.2 or whatever I have there. I can read them on right, 4.25. So the square root of 19 would be 4.3. And you could do it all day long. But you have to use, what's that thing between your ears called? Brain. Something you haven't used. Not you in here, but students haven't used because you've been conditioned to depend on what? Just like people have been conditioned to rely on the government. Sorry. All right, x squared minus 8x plus blank is equal to 4 plus blank. What's half of 8? 4 squared? We're really using some high-level mathematics here. All of it's probably below the 7th grade. X minus 4, quantity squared, is equal to 20. That's squared. I'm not going to erase the whole text too long. So, that would be 4 comma negative 20 is our what? Vertex. So now we solve it. X minus 4 is equal to, I said 4.4. What'd y'all get when you used calculator? Okay, I'm sorry, 4.45. We'll go 4.4, 4.5. Why? It doesn't matter because you're going to be what? Sketchy. So it doesn't really matter unless somebody says, what is the actual answer? Then you have to use your calculator to get it down to the 100th or whatever. Okay? X is equal to positive or negative 4.4 plus 4. And that's going to be 8.4 is one X-intercept. That's supposed to be an 8. And negative 4.4 plus 4 is negative 0.4. Now sketch it. That's a negative. And you should be able to sketch it because your y-intercept is what? Negative. I bet you $1 to a donut hole. There's some people in here that's never seen this before. I bet you $1. There's somebody in here that didn't know that was a y-intercept up there. But you know how to use that calculator. That's the main thing. You ever want to see the product of that, go to a McDonald's or a Walmart and pay for your meal with a $20 bill and then give them 6 cents and watch your head explode. That's the product. People can't do simple math to make what? Change, because they rely on the computer to do that. Yep, I do it every single time, every chance I get. I shut down the 81 McDonald's one time. The manager had to go out and get a dadgum calculator to figure 50 cents. That's no joke. My meal was like $4.57 or something like that. And I gave them a 10 and gave them 7 cents. And the guy sat there and he went, "What's this for?" Oh, he was a deadhead. He was worthless. So, but you keep them dumb, you can control them, right? Negative 0.4, right there. Now there's supposed to be a dot there. There's 15 dots there, but negative 0.4. 8.4 is over here. 4 and negative 20 is way down here. 4. Usually, to tell if you're correct, this x will be usually between these two guys right here. If you got an x of 16, then you know something's wrong. This x right here will usually be. What is with this magenta dot that keeps popping
Keep
up?
hitting the board.
Huh?
Keep hitting the board.
Well, I know, but I should hit it with that. I mean, it should be a black dot. I guess my hand has special powers. And I'll just use my finger then. And negative 4 would be right there. And does everything line up? That's another thing you need to ask. Does everything line up? Yes. There's your parameter. So your domain is from negative 20 to, range is from negative 20 to infinity. Your domain is all real what? All right, so let's move it up a notch. Let's see what time it is. We got 15 minutes. Let's move it up a notch and make it a little bit more challenging. Because you know it ain't going to stay easy forever. Kind of like a job, a little bit more challenging. How about x squared plus 3x minus 8 is equal to 0? And no, you don't need a calculator. You just need to use fractions. Oh, fractions. I don't know how to use fractions. No, you don't need to do that. You're making it more difficult. 3 over 2 is 3 halves. 3 halves squared is 9 fourths.
Yeah, but I was saying.
Okay, when you would make it a mixed numbers at the very end when you're fixing to plot. Yeah. All right? So, x squared plus 3x plus blank is equal to 8 plus blank. 3 halves, 3 divided by 2 squared is equal to 9 fourths. So 9 fourths goes here and here. Shortcut number 1, x plus 3 halves, quantity squared, is equal to 32 fourths plus 9 fourths. Don't ask me where I got that 32 fourths. You should know, to add fractions, you gotta have a what? Common denominator. Again, that 3rd, 4th, 5th grade math. So x plus 3 halves, quantity squared, is equal to what?
10 and 1/4.
41 fourths. Now, the reason I don't turn it into a mixed number is because you want to try to keep everything a fraction, because what is this guy right here? He's a fraction. And eventually you're going to end up adding it to this guy. So keep everything a fraction until at the very end. So, my vertex is 3 halves, comma, 41 fourths. Now you can change this into a mixed number if you want to after you pull it out. That's fine, I don't care, because that's up to you. I mean, you know that's about 10. Yes, thank you. Negative. I was fixing to do it. That's 1.5, so negative 1.5, negative 10 1/4, or whatever. It's down here for this side. Okay, now I'm going to finish. Take the square root. And of course, that's 2 on the bottom. I'll do that one for you. 41 is between 36 and what? 36 and 49. 36 and 49 is 13. Half of 13 is 6.5. So you add that 6.5 to whatever the bottom, what I say the bottom was, 36. It'd be 42.5. Help me out. 42.5 is 6.5. So 42.5, I'd say 6.3. What'd y'all get? I'm sorry, I heard movement. If you get 6.5, I might have did a little bit. I was doing it in my head. So 6.5. Okay, so you didn't even check and you stuck out 6.5. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. I'll get the wrong number all the time asking you. Somebody check. What's the square root of 41? Okay, 6.4. Now, I just put 6.5 up there. Well, 6.4. For some reason, it's not erasing, so it's not doing anything. Now we've 6.4. Now, take this 3 minus 3 and see everything's over one denominator. It's over 2. Now, what's 6.4 minus 3? 1.4, Hubert. That's right, class. And 1.4 divided by 2 is 0.7. Because 14 divided by 2 is 7. 1.4 divided by 2 is 0.7. Negative 6.3 minus 4 is negative 9.4. Negative 9 is 4.5. Negative 9 divided by 2 is 4.5, and add 2 to it. That's going to be what? I'm thinking out loud. Negative 4.52, something like that. Somebody check me. Negative 4.5 something. I ain't worried about it. I'll check it when I graph it and see if everything lines up. Because I think y'all's brain's about to melt. Okay, so this is negative 1/2, negative 10. Negative 1/2, negative 10.
It's actually 4.7.
Whatever. Oh, over here?
I thought I was supposed to add 0.2.
Okay, and 0.7 is right here. 4.7 is over here, -5. And y-intercept of -8. And look at there, everything what? Lines up. And that gives us a range of -10.25 to infinity. Domain, all the numbers. Start to catch the hang of it. Okay. Right now, you'll need to work on the homework, the 4 sections of homework. Try to send me the problems. If you have a problem, send it to me, and that'll be what the next class is about. We got to get through this review first, and we got to make sure everybody knows how to do algebra, not just, oh, I remember doing algebra. No, everybody's got to know it before we go to limits. Okay, let me get the roll.